Well, hello one and all, welcome to Seeing Through Glass. Welcome to the start of a big adventure. Back in January, I decided I wanted to take my GT3 to America and do an epic road trip that would end up at Monterey Car Week. If you don't know, Monterey Car Week takes place in California each year. It's one of my favorite car events in the world. But I haven't actually been there since 2019 when I attended with my old 911 Carrera T. I thought, how cool would it be to go back 5 years later, now with my GT3. But then I got the quote back from the shipping company and discovered it was going to cost £16,000 to send my car to America and back. And on top of that, I would have been without it for weeks on end as it made its way across the Atlantic. I just was like, I'm not sure I can justify all this. Then a few weeks later, I was catching up with my bank, which is Swissquote Bank Europe in Luxembourg. I invested some money with them at the end of last year. They're all car guys, so I was explaining this dilemma I had when one of them went, well, couldn't you fly to America, buy a car, drive it to Monterey and then sell it and probably lose less than the 16 grand it's going to cost you to ship your car there? And I was like, I think I could. So yes, tomorrow I'm flying to New York to collect the car that I've bought, and I'm going to be driving to this year's Monterey Car Week. Like I said, it's going to be a big adventure. Well, welcome on board my Virgin Atlantic flight to JFK. Now, it's fair to say I probably underestimated the size of the challenge I set myself when I decided to do this kind of alternative version of my US road trip, mainly because £16,000 doesn't actually get you that far in the US used car market. Used car prices in America are just higher than they are in the UK. Of course, for $20,000, I could have got a sensible family saloon car, but that would have been boring. I was supposed to be doing this road trip in my GT3. I wanted to get something exciting, memorable, and on brand. So I searched high and low and actually ended up buying a car a couple of weeks ago. It got a bit sweaty at times, and maybe it's still a bit sweaty, because I bought the car sight unseen. It's a long road trip ahead, so whilst I'm happy with my choice, I've still got a few question marks, which is why I'm keen to get there, to go and find the car and see it for the first time. Well, this is a pretty silly airport pickup, isn't it?
Exactly.
I love that you bought the most practical car to pick me up.
Exactly. What's up, bro?
I'm Will as well. Dude, are you the support vehicle?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Awesome to see you. This thing is brown. Why not more brown?
Yeah, I know.
So good, dude. Some of you may remember Harrison from when I visited, when was that, like 3 months ago?
It was a couple months ago. Yeah.
The legend from Ryan Friedman Motorcars, who has been, you've been my point guy. You've been my man on the ground.
Yes, exactly.
And as nice as it is to see you, first things first, how's the car?
Dude.
Yeah?
It's brilliant.
Really?
Yes, bro, it's amazing.
Because I'm still
I swear. Alright, I'm not gonna say anything else though.
I'm a bit nervous still.
No, dude, no.
Will I make it to Monterey?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Let's get out of the madness that is JFK. And where we're going, like, out of town, right?
Yes, we're going to West Hampton. We're gonna go to Raleigh Point East.
Okay.
So it's a car club in the Hamptons.
ETA?
Hour and 30.
Great, I'm gonna have a nap.
Yes.
I need to sleep, so
yes.
Wake me up when we get there, yeah?
I got you.
Right. 2 hours later, we've made it here to Raleigh Point East. We're actually hosting a bit of a cars and coffee here this evening to kind of celebrate the start of my big trip, but more on that later, because there is my car. Maybe some of you can start to work out what it could be. I'll give you another clue. Hold on a sec, let me fish around in my pocket, and yeah, that's going to upset some of you, but enough's enough. Boys and girls, welcome to my 2002 Porsche Boxster S. Oh, this is wild. Okay, so the chrome wheels. Probably need to talk about those first. I was aware of them. I'm still not convinced by them, but beggars can't be choosers. It's not an important factor right now because I think this car is amazing. I've actually always been a fan of these early Boxsters. People like to look down on them, people like to knock them. You know, they're sort of hairdressers' cars in the UK. People hate these fried egg headlights, but I've just always been intrigued by them. Never actually driven one, so that's kind of interesting. Plenty of time to do that over the days and weeks ahead. But yeah, this thing is wild. So basalt black paintwork, which is looking fantastic. This kind of like stone grey interior, which I mean is unbelievable. There's like 45,000 miles on the clock of this car. The interior looks brand new. I've got to jump in. There we go. It's already unlocked. Oh my God. Yes, this steering wheel is immaculate, and the seats. Thank God, the seats are very comfortable. That was one of my concerns. One of my concerns was the seats wouldn't be that comfortable and that I wouldn't fit. Sometimes in these small sports cars, I end up looking over the windscreen rather than through it. But luckily, like all Porsches, I can just sink down and manual gearbox. I obviously used to own a 996 911, and it's pretty much the same in here, but oh my God, this is going to be roof down life. I am a stereotypical British man in a sports car, so this roof will never be coming up. But it's just amazing. What else am I noticing? I don't even know. The red calipers, I actually didn't even really notice it had red calipers, so that's a Brucey bonus. But I just can't get over how good condition this thing is. 2002, 45,000 miles, it's immaculate. Okay, fine, look, I've a little ding at the back there. But of course, the benefit of a Boxster has got practicality. 2 boots, or here in America, 2 trunks, the frunk and the, what's the rear, just the trunk, yeah? I'm getting a nod from Harrison, but, oh my God. I'm actually so excited by this. On the sound, I didn't even check out the sound system. I guess let's hope that works. So much to discover, but just on initial impressions, I mean, this paintwork is sensational. This is all a bit surreal. I've just flown to America, collected a car. I mean, what am I doing? Who am I? I'm walking around the world pretending like I'm Shmee 150. But anyway, as excited as I was to get here and pull the covers off this car, I was even more excited when I saw they made great coffee. And this is really sorting me out because it was an early start today. Anyway, I guess I need to explain a little bit more about this car, how I ended up buying it, and more of the details around it, I suppose. So let's kick things off with cost. I mentioned I kind of given myself, well, the equivalent budget of shipping my GT3, which was £16,000 or $20,000. This car actually cost me $16,000. So theoretically under budget, it's about £13,000. Like I said, US used car prices are a little higher than in the UK. I reckon that's a 9 or 10 grand car in the UK, but here in the US, that's a bit of a bargain for a Boxster S, especially in that condition. Now, that's not the final cost to me, because firstly we have to get the car here, we have to register it and insure it and things like that. It's also been through some prep work. Huge shout out not only to Ryan Friedman Motorcars, but also Avant Garde Studios, who have made that paintwork look so spectacular, have made the whole car look so spectacular. If I'm honest, they've probably overdone it. Like, it looks brand new, but I'm very grateful that they've done so. It's also got some new tyres on it from Continental. That should help me out for the big journey ahead. And a few other bits and bobs just to kind of get ourselves in as good a position as we can be, because, yeah, whilst it has done 45,000 miles over the last 22 years, that's actually not that many, think about it. And I'm probably going to be doing more mileage than any previous owner has done in a very short period of time. So I just wanted to get the car in as good a place as I can. Well, here we go then. Home sweet home, I suppose. It is absolutely lovely. First things first, I'd forgotten pedals are a little bit offset in this generation of Porsche. The sort of clutch pedal is in the middle of the steering wheel, and then the accelerator and the brake are slightly to the right. I do remember that now from my 996, but I had forgotten. Oh yeah, now Harrison had said he thinks that somebody fitted like a short shifter kit to this car, and he's right, because the throw is super short and notchy, which I have to say is super cool. By the way, just to mention, this cup holder's popped out and we can't get it to stay back in. So I guess that's all right, because I'm always going to have a coffee on the go, aren't I? So I'll just use that one. Anyway, let's start this thing up. Ooh, what a beast. I'm going to go for just an initial test drive, a post-purchase test drive, which is quite hilarious, to familiarise myself with this car. My actual journey begins tomorrow. So this is just simply to find out whatever I can about this thing. Sunglasses on, because it is an outrageously beautiful day. We're going to back out with this amazing unit and yeah, just pottle down the road, see what happens. I mean, I have to say, just immediately, a few things that I love, how small this car is and how smooth everything seems to be. Oh my God, initial impressions, people, are very good. Let me put the windows up so that the wind buffeting isn't too bad. Oh, this is delightful. It's a night and day difference from my old 996. That car, unfortunately, was always a little bit sloppy. This thing, I can just tell you straight away, it's so tight. This thing has been very well maintained over the years. And actually, we should touch on that because it really was the main motivating factor behind getting this actual car. So, prior to deciding to purchase this Boxster S, we were looking at a few different cars. Harrison and Louis from Ryan Freeman Motor Cars were really pushing me to get a Maserati, but I just thought, you know, cross-country road trip in a $20,000 Maserati, that sounds like a fire. So I quickly shut that down. We looked at Mercedes S63 AMGs. Thought, you know, long distance road trip, that would be kind of perfect. But all of those cars, they've got like 80 or 90,000 miles. They're from like 2011, 2012, and yeah, just dodgy service history. I don't know, that sounded like a mess. What else did we consider? BMW Z3Ms or M-Roadsters as they're called here. I really like those cars, but a little impractical. They're quite small in the cabin. I'm 6'2". I don't think I would have fit in it as well. Bad trunk space, etc., etc. Did look at 911s. The cheapest 911s you can get in America seem to be 996 Cabriolets. We actually found a couple that were amazing specs, but the dealers were a bit tricky. They wouldn't allow us to do pre-purchase inspection, things like that. We just got a bad vibe. And then suddenly this car was posted on the Instagram stories of a friend of Harrison's. And it said, you know, IMS done, RMS done, clutch just done, full service just done. And I was like, that's the car. Because when I first came up with the kind of alternative variation of this road trip, I said to Harrison, like, we want to find something like a Boxster. And I've ended up with a Boxster, and what a Boxster. Can I just say, this is amazing. I am literally living my best life right now. It's about 30 degrees. The roof is down. I'm probably getting sunburn. I should have put a hat on. And this is so smooth. I'm just wafting along. The ride quality is fantastic. There's no squeaks that I'm aware of just yet. Actually, very little wind buffeting in the cabin. Let's check out the sound system. Oh my God, I got proper music. Heated seats. Not sure I'm going to use those in the 30 degree heat I'm expecting over the next days and weeks. I've got air conditioning, I've got cruise control. My knees are bashing the steering wheel a bit, but maybe I can adjust the steering wheel. I haven't done anything like that. And then this short shifter kit is just, it has to be a short shifter kit. That feels way too notchy and engaging for just a standard Boxster. And then the visibility and the size on the road. I know the cliched idea is to go and get an American muscle car to do this trip in, right? That's what we all dream of. It's not really what I dream of. I like an American muscle car, but I always wanted to do this trip in something like this. And so I wanted to follow my heart and buy a car that I actually like and would want to drive rather than thinking, okay, what's going to get the most for views? It's how I've always run my channel and it's how I prefer to do it. This is, after all, my own money. So I'm going to buy cars that I actually want. And this is a car that I've always been intrigued by. Is the valve just open? Let me drop back down a gear. That's 4,000 RPM. I'm in a bit of traffic. Let me come back again. I hope you can hear that. It sounds good. It's not that quick, but it's not really what this thing is about. It's just about the moment. I've dreamed of doing a big cross America road trip. Again, ever since 2019, ever since Drive the World. Obviously back then we did it over 3.5 months, zigzagged across the country. This is going to be a bit more of a direct trip, but still I am so excited, and this is just going to be sensational at this time of year. I don't think I should ever put the roof up, right? I am a British guy in a sports car. The roof should always be down. Like, it feels a bit wrong to put the roof up. However, some parts of the country we're going to are currently like 45 degrees, so maybe on those days we'll put the roof up. Listen to that. It's nice when you get those valves open. I just can't get over how together and well looked after this thing feels. Like, it might all fall apart. I am still like, there's a part of me which is still like, could all go wrong. It's a 22-year-old Boxster. These things aren't known for being incredibly reliable, but I do think ones that are theoretically as well looked after as this one is. I mean, here we go. And when I get out onto the twisties, which will be further west, oh, it's going to be so delightful. Yow! Thank God. I've got to be honest, on the flight, I was getting a bit nervous. I thought, what if I turn up and it's super sloppy and squeaky and rattly? I'm just going to be miserable. I'm going to be just, but I'm so pleased. I almost don't want to go back for the Cars and Coffee, which we're hosting this evening. I kind of just want to start the drive now, but no, we will return to Rally Point East for this big event and tell you a little bit more about Swissquote Bank Europe. I mentioned them at the beginning. They did pretty much come up with the idea for this alternative version of my US road trip. So I forced them to sponsor the trip as well. Yeah, full disclosure, they've come on board. They're helping cover some of the travel costs and logistics and things like that. So it's probably only right that I tell you a little bit more about them. I love it. I love this car. I love this. That's definitely a short shifter.
I think it is for sure. Dude,
it's so cool.
So comfortable, so easy to drive, so smooth. The suspension is really good. Dude, it's great, right?
We found a good one.
We've done well.
We've done well. It's not bad either.
Yeah. Casual.
So, I need to take you back to the end of last year when I had this kind of sudden realization that, well, I'm quite grown up. I've got a wife and a baby and a dog and a house and a Panamera. I probably need to start being a bit more sensible with my money and making some longer term plans. So I decided I wanted to invest some money, make it work a little bit harder for me. Problem is, I don't really know much about the investment world. I was a little bit clueless. But strangely, at that similar time, a listener from the podcast had got in touch and we were just chatting about cars and life and things like that when I noticed that he worked at Swissquote Bank Europe. And I said, look, could I just give you a call and have a chat about investing money? He was like, yeah, sure. And he was great and he invited me out to Luxembourg to meet with him and his team. You might remember one of the first trips I did with my Challenge Stradale was to Luxembourg. That was to meet with Swissquote. They explained things in layman's terms and I was like, this sounds great. I want to make an investment with you guys. I mean, Swissquote are a proper legit bank. I've seen lots of you comment over on the podcast when I've talked about them before, saying that you are also Swissquote customers. So I felt very reassured and very safe. It was then a few weeks later that we inadvertently came up with the idea for this trip. And it's so great to have them on board as sponsors because I'm actually using one of their products for this trip. Amongst their huge array of investment offerings, they also do a Lombard loan. Now, what's interesting about this is they offer the Lombard loan against your investment portfolio. So it's a percentage of your portfolio offered back to you as a borrowing. The thing is, it's super flexible. There's no monthly payments, you just pay interest on what you use, and because it's unsecured, it's not tied to the residual value of a vehicle. So it's a different way of financing cars. That's when I was like, oh, here we go, because here in America, I could never have financed this Boxster S. I don't have a social security number, I don't have a bank account, it would have been impossible. But by taking a loan from Swissquote against my portfolio, it's meant that I've got the cash, the disposable cash, to come and buy this thing. And then at the end of this trip, obviously I'm hoping to lose as little money as possible, I can either choose to repay the loan or just roll it into something else. Maybe it could be a deposit on another car. Maybe I'll keep this car. Maybe I'll go back and buy a Boxster in the UK. I have options because it's not tied to anything, so it gives you that flexibility and that freedom. Now, obviously, this is kind of a product for those of you that have investments, but maybe you were like me and you kind of always wanted to make some investments, or maybe you just already have a huge portfolio. Go and check out Swissquote. They've actually created a landing page, a specific landing page that explains a few things, showcases their various offerings, and actually gives you some special rates. It's in the description below. So they've been amazing. I'm super grateful that, well, I'm signed up with them, but then they're also supporting this trip. It's like a full circle moment. So yes, lots more to come on them, I'm sure. We'll probably do a bit more on the podcast, talking about the actual products in depth if you're interested in it. But for now, thanks to them for making this kind of dream trip come true.
So let's put the roof up.
Yes, okay, I hadn't even done that. That's a very good point.
Yes. So
I just assumed I would never do it. Well, that's a good sign.
It works, which is good.
Okay, I feel like there's a but coming.
No, it works very well.
Sure.
But
yeah, I told you there was a but coming.
So this, gotta pull this in. So then come come around to this side.
Okay.
Come around. Close the door. So you close the door.
Ah, the window doesn't drop.
Doesn't go down.
Ah, the window doesn't drop. Okay.
But look, it goes up, but then every time you have to get in the car, you have to do this.
Well, you know the simple solution is
You just leave it down just a little bit.
I just never have the roof up.
That too.
I
That
mean,
too.
you know, it's going to be beautiful
and
weather.
Then obviously this, but it's still tight, like weather sealed. Like, I think that's fine.
I think that's okay. I think we can
Dude,
live
the
with that.
3-4 things, this thing's immaculate.
It's great, right?
so good.
I was to say, I know you've been enjoying it. On bringing the car here to Rally Point East last night, Harrison sends me like a selfie of him driving in the sunset, living his best life. Honestly, guys, I'm so happy with this little car.
For
$16,000.
could you go any? Like, could you get better? I really don't think so.
Well, we tried.
We tried.
This is as good as we could get, and I think it's
And I
pretty
think it's
damn.
really good.
I think it's pretty damn
It's
amazing,
really
right? Right, let's hide it away because we've got lots of people coming for cars and coffee, and this isn't being revealed for a little bit. So we'll just pretend like it's just, hey, there's some dodgy Boxster in the back. Who cares about that? Thank you, guys.
Of course.
Now, before we fully relax and enjoy the cars and coffee, I do have one final test for this car. Luggage. I have purposefully packed light because, well, yes, it is practical, but it's not that practical, it's still important. So let's kick things off with the front. Do luckily have a space saver spare tire. I think we should be all right with this guy in here. Oh, I mean, if anything, too much space. That like that. I think I could fit everything in there, but just because I want to demonstrate the practicality, let's go around the back. Check out the rear, which can happily fit my camera bag, meaning I can still pick up lots of stuff during my adventure. Okay, and relax. Now I can enjoy some tacos and some cars, then later we'll head into town and get some sleep.
New beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good karma is a must. Still my shooter in the cut. I was stuck inside a rut. Played the game, made bank, moved G. Anything to get a buck. You won't find me in
Harrison, you have to wish me luck, dude. You have to wish me luck, and I'll see you
wish
there.
you all luck.
I'll see you there.
in a month.
Maybe on a flatbed. Well, hopefully not. Thank you for everything, man. Thank you, dude. See you soon.
Past the rock, it's all butter.
This is day one, and I actually need to crack on. I got a 12-hour drive over to Chicago.
Days are all numbered. Rain could cause thunder, but the sun comes after. Clearing up.
We're starting to light up like a Christmas tree here, people. Just had the ABS warning light come on and the passenger airbag, or maybe my airbag light come on.